Hey guys, welcome back to Only Black Girl, my channel, right? Y'all know it is brand new week in this bitch. And today I want to share with you guys some survival tips that I have developed while attending PWIs, aka predominantly white institutions. Me being only black girl, for those of you who don't know or are behind, or maybe this is your first video, whatever it is, I'm transracially adopted. And I grew up in a very white city of Olympia, Washington. So I am used to being the only black person in literally everything. Having just graduated college last month, I kind of was thinking back on like some of the most essential skills that I had to develop in order to survive these predominantly white institutions and colleges and whatever else. And I've had a lot of people kind of ask me, a lot, especially people going to college who are going into these predominantly white colleges, like, how the fuck am I going to survive this? I don't know how I'm going to make it 4 years with having my afro touched every fucking day. So I wanted to share with you guys kind of like the most absolutely essential tips that I can share with you guys. Obviously, there's kind of a lot more to this, and these may not necessarily apply to every single person, but these are kind of what helped me get through it all, and hopefully they can work for you guys too. So let's get started. Number one, just know that you deserve to be there / here. Whatever it is that you are, just know that you deserve to be there. You deserve a place where you are. There's always going to be some Becky without the good hair who tries to tell you that, oh, well, my daughter Claudia Sue didn't get in, but you're fulfilling a diversity quota, or I don't think you worked hard enough to get here, and blah blah blah. The more qualified person, whatever the fuck it is, there's always going to be some naysayer, but bitch, you deserve to be there. Whether you're filling a diversity quota or fucking not, it's not like somebody walked up to you on the street was like, hey bitch, you want a job? You, oh, okay. Excuse me. Did you want a full ride to Harvard? Oh, okay. Come on in. No, like, you had to apply. You had to fucking put in your resume. Like, you have previous work experience. Whatever the fuck it is, you had to apply. You had to work just to get the fucking opportunity to be considered. So you deserve to be there, no matter what anybody else says, no matter if you're filling a quota or fucking not, bitch. Like, you have that position. You fucking deserve to be there, no matter what Matthew McWhiterson tries to tell you. Okay, that's number one. Just know that you deserve to be there. Number two, know yourself. What I mean by this is that if you don't know yourself as a person, it's going to be very hard for you to find your place within a predominantly white institution that offers you zero support. So when I say know yourself, what I mean is, like, know your limits, know the shit that you can let slide, and know the shit that really just fucking pushes your buttons. Know how you're going to react to certain different situations. Know where you stand with the comfort of your voice. Know what you feel comfortable voicing. Know what you don't feel comfortable talking about. Know know yourself. Number three, and this is the absolute most important thing that I can stress to you guys ever in my life. If you don't remember anything else in this video, remember this. Choose your battles. Listen, you are in a predominantly white institution. You are in a place where white people are the dominant group. If you didn't figure out by now, our education system is fucking terrible. So whether they mean to be racist or not, you're going to deal with about 692,000 microaggressions every fucking day. And you can't fight them all. I promise you can't. As much as you may want to smack the shit out of every single person who tries to put their fingers in your hair, you can't fight them all. You are going to kill yourself within 24 hours if you try to fight every single battle. So choose your battles wisely. I've developed two questions I ask myself before I lay a motherfucker out. A, can you deal with the consequences? Being the only blank in a predominantly white institutions, you're going to be under a fucking microscope. And then if you react in a way that they don't like, or it's not something that they see that it is serious thing to be reacting to, you're probably going to get punished. If you're not punished, you're going to be like, girl, what are you talking about? And at the very least, you're going to be seen as the angry black woman or whatever it is that they're going to label you with. So need to be aware of the consequences, and if you can deal with those consequences, then great. B, the second thing to ask yourself before you whoop a motherfucker's ass is it worth it? Is this really, if you go in on this person, if you sit there and take your time to try to actually explain why this thing that they said is wrong or makes you uncomfortable, whatever it is it really worth it? Is this really going to be somebody who's going to receive that information and internalize it and actually try to work on changing? If it's not, then what the fuck is the point? If you can answer yes to those two questions, if you can answer yes, I can deal with these consequences, and yes, I feel like this is somebody who I can actually have a conversation with and it's going to benefit the both of us, then go ahead and battle. Take that battle, whether it be a nice battle or whether you just want to cuss a bitch out, go for it. I deal with this two different ways. Number one, I'm going to cuss you out. Number two, if I don't cuss you out, I'm going to be really sarcastic and make you feel so uncomfortable that you're going to want to go educate your damn self, because you are never going to feel so fucking uncomfortable with the comment you just said as a white person. I'm going to make you feel so uncomfortable. Like when people try to tell me racist jokes, I act like I don't get it. So they have to actually sit there and explain it to you, and then you can just see the realization on the face on how fucking racist they are. I love it. It's so perfect. For me, it's very satisfying to make white people uncomfortable. Number four, find your people. Now, this doesn't literally have to be people of your same race, but what I mean by that is to find people who understand the shit that you're going through. So if you're the only blank in the office, go find the other only blank that's in the other department in the building that you work with. And you don't literally need to be like, hey, you're also the only black person here. Y'all, you want to link up? You don't need to make it awkward, is what I'm saying. But usually, if you're the only blank in the office and there's another only blank in the office, you guys probably are already friends or already talk to each other, or, you know, make that eye contact where you're like, girl, these white people. Like, you know what I mean? So you probably already have a relationship like that. If you don't have anybody that you feel comfortable addressing in your institution, you can always look outside your institution. Community groups or community leaders, I guarantee you there's some group in your community. Campus groups are a great way to go, whether it be like the Black Student Union, or when I was in community college, we had a diversity and equity center, which was great. Probably one of the things that saved my life and probably saved me from committing several felonies of wanting to run white people over with my car. It was just a place, it was a safe place on campus that we could go to that was specifically for not just racial minorities, but whether it be sexuality, gender, whatever it was. It was just a place for underrepresented people to come together. They could come, we could vent, we could also connect with other people who looked like us, had the same experiences as us, whatever it was. It was just a safe place for underrepresented groups to go to get help, whatever the fuck it was we needed. It was finally people who got it. I didn't have to explain it, they just got it, because we all are in this predominantly white institution going through the same bullshit together. So find your people. Doesn't necessarily have to be people in your institution, but find your people. The number 5 tip, which kind of goes along with the last one I just talked about, is to find a mentor. Now, this doesn't necessarily need to be a official mentor, and though I personally prefer somebody who's older and wiser, it doesn't necessarily have to be that either. But what I mean by mentor is basically just find somebody who has gone through the shit that you're going through, or is currently going through the shit that you're going through, can basically be your accountability partner. I got a mentor when I was in community college, kind of by force. I really don't like to admit when I need help. When I joined this diversity and equity program, they kind of forced you to have a mentor, and it ended up being probably the best thing that ever happened to me while I was at that school. I ended up getting paired with the VP of Student Services, who's also a black woman. She's an older black woman. She went to a HBCU. She grew up in Virginia. But now she's also working at this predominantly white institutions, and she's also like literally one of the only black people on the staff of the entire college, and the only black person on the president's council. So she also could relate to both sides of the coins, you know, having growing up in predominantly black areas and now also working in predominantly white areas. It was really great for me, having only experienced one of those things, to having a very strong, confident black woman kind of help me, not just with my academic career, but just with my life in general, because it was really hard for me. I kind of had an identity crisis until I was in college. I didn't really know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what things were important to me, but she was really somebody who sat down with me and was like, what do you want to do? Nobody had ever asked me that question before. What do you like? Where do you want to be in 5 years? Do you even want to be living here in 5 years? Are you even taking the right classes for things that you want to be doing in 5 to 10 years? And I was like, oh shit. Girl, you asking me the real question. Last thing I want to talk about is how to report discrimination in your PWI. I can't tell you how many messages I've got for people that send me things like, yo, so-and-so on my job said this, made me super uncomfortable, but I don't know if I should report it. I don't know, you know, how to report it. Let me tell you something. I'm the queen of reporting people. I will report the shit out of you. I don't give a fuck. And like I said before when I was talking about choosing your battles, I think a lot of us are sometimes so used to just putting our head down and letting shit slide because that's how we get through our fucking lives without being shot in the fucking face. Sometimes we just have to let shit slide. But I got to a point in my life, I used to let shit slide all the time, but I got to a point in my life that was like, yo, I don't need to be letting shit slide. I deserve to be here. I deserve respect. I worked my fucking ass off to be here, bitch. You ain't paying my bills, so I'm not gonna let this shit slide. So, you know, I am the queen of reporting people. I report the shit out of you. Again, you do kind of have to choose your battles because unfortunately it's still a predominantly white institution, so they may not take you seriously if it's not something they deem serious. So this is where these steps that I'm going to tell you come in. Please get a piece of paper and write this shit down because, bitch, let me tell you, I know how to work these predominantly white systems to the fucking know the policies, know the fucking company policies. If there is nothing else that you remember from those stupid ass orientations that they give you, remember the policies on how to report any type of discrimination, harassment, whatever it is. Know it, know who to contact, know the procedures, know what kind of shit they want to need, know the appeal process, know everything. Know it. And if you don't know, if you don't remember it from the orientation, go talk to HR and get it. Go look at your little handbook or whatever the fuck it is. It's probably on the website. But know the policies. It's really important to know the policies because if you don't do it by the policy rules, your shit's gonna get thrown. Secondly, save everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. As soon as you get that one email from that one person that isn't quite racist yet, but it just kind of made you go, save it. Because you never fucking know. You just don't know. Because when shit hits the fan, you want to have a long ass record of this bullshit. Bitch, when I tell you, when I went to report this motherfucker, I had at least fucking 24 emails. I printed that whole shit out. Printed it and was like, here you go. Can't say nothing because it's right fucking here. It's right here. Every word from every fucking person on this chain is right here. You can't deny it. It's right there. It has the date and time it was sent. It has the fucking subject line. Ain't nothing changed. It's right there. You can't fucking deny it. It's right there. It's in your face. So save everything. Which brings me to my next thing is if it's not necessarily a physical form of communication, keep a tape recorder on you. Pretty much every phone now has some sort of a recording device. So if there's somebody who's like physically coming up and talking to you or making really inappropriate comments or whatever it is, record them. Now, one thing I will say about being recorded is make sure you look up the recording laws in your state because I know some states it'll get tossed out if the person isn't aware they're being recorded. In some states they don't give a fuck. That you don't need to tell them that they're being recorded. But either way, if you can use it, great. If you can't, you can't. But I would definitely just, if there's somebody who's seriously making you uncomfortable, even if you just bring it to HR and you can't necessarily use it in court or whatever, and it just helps a lot. Just basically have all the fucking evidence that you can. The next thing is to get support from other people in your PWI. I can guarantee you if you are the victim of this discrimination, there's somebody else who's gone through it too, but they're also not saying anything because they don't feel comfortable speaking up, and they're also just letting it slide by. I guarantee you there's somebody else. So whatever way that you feel comfortable kind of addressing this or trying to flush out the people who are also victims, especially if you're going to be the first person to kind of make that step and be like, yo, I'm not going to let this shit slide anymore. I guarantee you somebody else is going to pop up like, oh, yeah, this happened to me too. Here are all the emails that they sent to me. The more support you have to back up your story and your claims, it's just more evidence that they can't ignore because it's not just you who's coming to them. There's several other people. Even if it's not even necessarily people who need to like testify or whatever, if you start a fucking petition and even get every fucking person's signature in the office, it helps a lot. Trust me, I've done the petitions too. It helps. The more people you can get to support you, the better. Don't be afraid to submit it to HR. You know, that's their job is to deal with this shit. And if they fire you, you can fucking sue the company because you can't be fired for being a fucking victim. You can't. So, bitch, you gonna win either way. Submit it to HR. Submit it to. I'm a little bit drastic. I'll go to the fucking highest person if I have to. I will also submit it to HR, but bitch, I'm going to the fucking presidents. I'm going to the fucking trustees. I don't give a fuck. Like, Yes, follow the policies, but if it's not the result that you want, take it up to the next person. Don't let this shit slide. The last thing I really want to point out about this is be prepared to be disappointed. Because at the end of the day, this is a predominantly white institution. There are a lot of times that I have reported people, like blatantly racist people, especially if you're on a campus and it's a teacher. They're on these tenured contracts, and a lot of times, even if the school wants to fire them, they can't. This has happened to me a lot. Um, Even if you have all the support, even if you had 600 fucking signatures and all this fucking evidence, um, they may not be able to do anything about it at that time. But it's good to bring it to their attention because at the end of that contract, they don't have to rehire that person. So be prepared to be disappointed. You may not win every battle, but at least you fought the battle and at least you brought it to their attention, because if this keeps happening, whether you win the battle or not, if this keeps happening and people keep reporting it, eventually they're not going to be able to ignore the shit anymore. Hell, bring it to the fucking news if you want to. I don't care. But again, just be prepared to be disappointed. So those are my essential tips for surviving PWIs. I'm so sorry this was so long, but hopefully this will help you guys out a little bit more. Anyways, I've been talking way too fucking long. I'm really tired of hearing myself talk, but love you guys. Please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys again sometime soon. Bye. Bye.